shit now. I got shit on reverb now. I got back. I got.
Thank you for capturing, boo. We can capture it.
I will admit, your camera is insane. Like better than.
Already on. Yes, sir. Interview done. More things to see. More people to enlighten. You know what I'm saying? Got my boy Wolverine in the back. Yes, sir. The scribe.
Shout out to the Royal Minister.
Shout out to the Royal Minister and the Kizzy. We finna pull up on Don.
Actually, finna get more enlightenment as we just drink this enlightenment. That's that yerba mate. Keep your energy up. You know, right now we just finished the private podcast and we talked major game, dropped jewels on money, funding, credit, business, status, identity, all of the above. Check it out. And now we're going to open up our minds some more, because in order to be free, you truly have to open up your mind. When you fully...
Hold on, I'm going to let him cook. Hold on, I'm going to let him cook.
When you fully understand what's going on in life or in the reality, what they call the matrix, you will realize that there's a war on your mind or on consciousness. The war on consciousness has to do with the shutting down and the closing off of your pineal gland and that of your brain, your higher functions. This is why in school we learn about the food guide pyramid, things like that. That the food guide pyramid, when you eat these foods, they kill your pineal gland, they destroy your creative functions and abilities. So every child is a product, every spirit is a product of God. But by the time you are in your teenage years and your Jupiter return, which is at 11 years old, you're getting programmed into this system, into this matrix, through the foods that you eat, through the roads, through the places, the environments that you are, through epigenetics. There's no such thing as being traits and diseases being passed down, genetically passed down. Gifts can be genetically passed down, but if you are in an environment that's not supplementing your gift, then that gift does not flourish. So you got to understand the power of your conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. This is how they're able to separate you from the essence of what's actually going on. So let's talk about it. In your environment, you got concrete. When the earth itself is giving off energy, there's a period of time known as Tartaria, where they harvest the energy that's free in the earth. There's an individual by the name of Nikola Tesla who broke down the power of free radicals and energy in space. This is known as telluric energy. So when you connect to the earth, the grid of the earth, this is why they call it a motherboard, then now you can download the energies that's coming from the sun, because the sun is shooting light or energy, which is photonic matter, which is dark matter, straight to the sun, and you download it through the motherboard. This is why they put the concrete and they put the rubber on top of the concrete, which is an insulator, to block the flow of the electricity. So currently you are under the current.
So currently you don't have no current.
Yeah, you are under the current, and that may be why the currency may be low. So so this is why they say your health is your wealth, and you see a lot of wealthy people practicing healthy principles, because the more that you're able to think, the more that you're able to create. You know, we're in a creation-based reality where everything is based on your perception. This is the holographic universe, and this is also,
and it's the
universe, and it's also it's a verse. That's why we're going back to the soundtrack. Also, it's a split theory. When you understand that if a tree falls in the forest, no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yep.
So that has to do with perception. If there's a receiver around like another tree, then it does make a sound, because sound is simply vibration. So the concept of this, though, is that when you don't look at something in a split theory, they were observing atoms. And when they looked at an atom, they shot it out through a projector, the atom would take a straight line sort of path. But when they looked away from the atoms would start to split when they shot it out from the projector. So they started to realize that atoms changed based upon the perception of the viewer. So it literally existed in an almost infinite form. They started to realize when they sped up the experiment, when they shot out the atom, when they didn't observe it. So it's infinite potential. But when you do observe it, it's a direct line every time. You know, so it's like whatever you focus on grows. Whatever you make matter. And this goes even deeper. That's quantum physics when you get into biology and the understanding of psychology and the brain, right? That when you are able to utilize your neuromelanin and your higher functions of your brain to secrete your DMT, your dimethylamine, tryptamine, and you're able to activate your serotonin and your melatonin by being in alignment with that Earth's frequency and being in alignment with the lunar energy and the sun energy, because everything goes back to the cosmos. Because as Carl Jung once said, we're made up of the same components of decomposing stars. The iron that's in your blood, the calcium that's in your bones, you are a star. That's why they call each one of us a person, which is a percentage of the sun, or a personal sun. Your reality, and this is your solar system that you're in. Everything goes back to the grid. As so within, as so without, as above, so below. This is why the cities are lit. It's because everything goes back to electricity. When you go into scripture, you will see that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But originally, in the Old Testament, it was in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. And when you look into the Elohim, or the El is a very powerful frequency or letter in the English language. That's love, live, life, laugh. That's the El. So the Elohim was God, right? And when you look at that Elohim, you're also looking at the left angle, which is the angle, the 90-degree angle that the Masons, practice and speak about, which the 90-degree angle creates a curve, which they call a learning curve or a rainbow. And the reason why this is so important is because that's how you could say through the holographic frame that your spirit or your frame is projecting itself in itself through this being, the body called the avatar, through your mind, through your consciousness. Because when you lose consciousness, then you don't have access to the body. So through consciousness, you can have access to multiple bodies. So you are not just one body, you are all body or everybody in one body. You know what I'm saying? So that's getting more into connecting with the grid, though. And this is why they have to disconnect us from the grid. This is why they have to perpetually give us songs and give us movies and give us shows that throw you off of the grid, because naturally your body is designed to heal itself. If you cut yourself and you just leave it alone, even if you patch it up, you're going to heal. That's what the body does. So therefore, there has to be a deliberate attack to make sure that the body doesn't have the time or the space to heal. So with that being said, it's time to wake up, it's time to break out, and it's time to stay outside of the loop because of what's happening cosmically with all of the eclipses, what's happening cosmically with the precession of the equinox and us shifting into the age of Aquarius. Now is the time to understand what is your status, because your status is your state us. So you could be in the state of the us, which is the US, or you can have a status, you know what I'm saying, which denotes to your birthright. And your birthright, you were born rich because all you had was all you need. Did you ever ask for anything when you were born? No, you couldn't. You didn't even know who you were. So you were born rich. So what's this thing that you was put on you? You didn't have a choice to go to school or not. It was put on you, and you had to go into the system. So now when you go back into the history and the understanding of the system, the school board of education, and how it was created to make a nation of workers and not a nation of thinkers, then you will see why we live in this congested environment when there's so much space, there's so much land, there's so much opportunity around, but we're all focused on the same things. So now is the time that we are awakening up, and we are the ones, you could say the gods, you could say the chosen ones, you could say the conscious community. We like to call ourselves royals and sovereigns, right? The ones from the beginning of times, bringing back the knowledge, in different facets. So with that being said, that was just a download.
And that is our download from the Royal Minister.
Like, if you got any questions and stuff like that, I'm on the floor, man. Like, we
on the
keep
floor?
it like going.
Brother Warburton. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Warburton.
It's like, whoa.
Warburton. Go ahead, tell the people about yourselves. I'm gonna let you. I can hold it for you.
I'm back here scribing. I'm back here writing my own insights and philosophies. I guess I'll share one of my insights. As part of my work of building my pitch deck, I guess the question is, what is the key problem your business solves? That's the whole purpose of making a pitch deck. And I think that at the core of it, I found for my company, Exponent Media, is helping business owners craft the offer, the packaging, like whether it's an ebook ebook or a course or whatever the packaging is for their offer, as well as the funnel. Now, there is a caveat. Like, I feel like it's important that I work with experts, so people who actually
Make sure you project it, because we live.
But as far as the we're on live right now.
Yeah, it's not live, but it's just recording. I want to make sure they hear you,
Yeah,
because it's the background.
I think it's important though in my business to work with professionals, because I can't give people the idea or the expertise.
Right.
So like when we were talking with Don Klom earlier, he was like, I was like, yeah, I think you gotta, or I said, I think you have a music course in you. And he was like, I'm working on one right now. Because we were chopping it up about music. I was like, okay. So it just came down to asking questions like, what infrastructure do you have in place for this idea and this expertise that you're executing on? I think that's another important piece to working with clients in this space, is like, what an idea is cool, but what have they executed on? And I think packaging that in an offer and then running that through a funnel is something I'm working
So you're good at organizing as well as scribing.
I mean, that's in a form that is scribing. Like, I'll take
Right.
your idea and make it look like I'll make it look like a fire-ass ebook template in Canva.
Okay.
And it's not hard to do that. I'll make the design of your funnel so fire that your competitors will be like, yo, fuck up the funnel.
Helping to crystallize vision.
Sure, there you go. Okay, yeah, go
This
ahead.
way.
How cute. You just teed it up for yourself.
Oh God, always. This way.
Right. Wait, no, left.
Cards, bro. I ain't rushing to that shit.
I used to have the mansion
That's it.
mastermind.
See y'all next time. We finna go part 2.
Yeah, facts.